and we are live with another edition of the All Gas No Break Sports Show. I am one of your co-hosts, Nicholas Pavona, joined alongside, as always, by my co-host, Andrew Johnson. And Johnson, we have just reached, or are just about to hit, the end of the first half of the MLB season, and it has been a very interesting 2026 MLB season. A very, very stacked National League going on right now. A lot of teams contending in the National League race. Meanwhile, in the American League, it's been very topsy-turvy. The Yankees and the Rays have the best record in the American League right now, but right after that, it really comes down to what team might be the next team to, get over that threshold and maybe compete with the Yankees and Rays potentially at season's end. So a lot of interesting notes to break down later on in the show, but we're about to hit the second or get to the second half of this MLB season. It's been an interesting one.
Interesting to say the least, Nick. You have a lot of teams that are overperforming and a lot of teams that are underperforming.
Yeah,
So I'll let you start with the underperforming division or conference, I should say.
conference. Yeah, I think we'll start in the National League just because I feel like it's been a pretty good year for the National League itself. Um, you start in the National League East where the Atlanta Braves we're off to a great start this year. They had the best record in all of baseball up until these last couple of weeks. They've been kind of struggling as of late. Some injuries have really been the big reason why that's happening. Biggest one, of course, being to Ronald Acuna Jr. But they still have a two-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies for the NL East lead right now. They have the third best record in the entire National League itself. But as I mentioned, they have some stiff competition right now in the National League East with the Philadelphia Phillies, who after an abysmal start to the season. They fired their manager Rob Thompson earlier on in the year. Don Mattingly has since taken over the helm in Philadelphia, and the Phillies have since reaped the benefits. They have now been one of the hottest teams in baseball the last couple of months. They have a 54-43 record now on the season, and a big reason for that has been they got Zach Wheeler back from injury, which is a huge plus for them. Kyle Schwarber is still doing Kyle Schwarber things. Bryce Harper has had a strong season as well. Christopher Sanchez has been really strong for them this season. Could be a Cy Young candidate at the end of the season for them. And the Phillies finally reaching the potential that we expected at the beginning of this regular season. Don't look now, but how about the Miami Marlins too, Johnson? One of the hottest teams in baseball up until this most recent series against Cleveland. But despite them getting swept by the Guardians, they have been one of the hottest teams in all of baseball. And look no further to what they did in the month of June. I think the best record in June at 18-6, if I'm not mistaken. They're 52-45 right now, 4 games back of first place in the NL East. They've had a really strong pitching year for some of their big names. Sandy Alcantara, Max Meyer has been pretty good for them this season as well. And they're getting some nice contributions as well from the bat, which has been really surprising to see for them this season. So that's a good sight for Miami. The Washington Nationals right now have been up and down this season, but they've been middling around 500 on the year, 48-49. They just got swept by the Yankees this past weekend. Big reason why they've been, excuse me, middling around their record has been because of their bullpen. It's been one of the worst in all of baseball. They don't really have a shutdown closer, but they have one of the brightest young stars in all of baseball, in James Wood, who's been incredible for them this entire season. They have right now a Cy Young candidate, Foster Griffin, who's been great for them this season. So there are some sites that could really turn things around for Washington in the near future. And then the New York Mets, another tough start to the season, another really mind puzzling start to the year for them, in a year where a lot of expectations were coming to them after, I would say, an up and down offseason. Lost a couple players, but they also got some nice acquisitions. They fired Carlos Mendoza early on in the season, and they're 17 games under 500 right now. It's just been a really, really poor start for them, and they're probably going to be trade deadline sellers coming up in the next couple weeks. Um, it's a team that you and I both has the division winner going into this season, but doesn't look like it's going to be happening this upcoming season.
Yeah, it looks like the Mets are selling. Like that's it. Like, where do you go now if you're Steve Cohen? Because to the fans, it looks like you bought some goodwill with the city. You're willing to spend. Yes, you get big time names like Soto to come over from the Yankees, so you're not just a little brother. You can actually try to compete in this city, and it goes from there. And now it's like it seems like you got the license for the casino, and
Yeah.
now you don't care about anything anymore. So if you're Steve Cohen, like this is your public perception right now. What do you do if you're him? Because you had so much goodwill with the city, and just like that, in 6 short months, it's all gone.
It's going to come down to what they do in the in the next couple of weeks because as I mentioned, the trade deadline's coming up. So they're gonna probably get rid of some guys like Devin. I mean, I don't know if Devin Williams gonna have a market, but Luke Weaver will have a tremendous market because he's had a really good, strong year for the Mets this season. Um, he should probably be the Mets closer at this point. I don't know why they have Devin Williams still closing games. Um, Bo Bichette had a really slow start to the season. He's kind of picked it up of late, but that slow start really hurt him early on in the season. There's been obviously the rumors that Lindor and Juan Soto don't get along, so that doesn't really help a locker room. And even when your owner is saying that, I mean, that does not help whatsoever. Um, I don't know because they're in a spot where you look at the rotation and it's not great on paper. Clay Holmes was arguably their best pitcher, and then he got hurt. They've had awful pitching most of the season, and there's really been no bright spots on the offensive side outside of maybe Juan Soto. It's probably just been him. AJ Ewing looks like he could be maybe a future star for them. I'm very curious what they do in a few weeks' time at the deadline, but
I'm very glad
I
you
don't
brought
know.
up Lindor too, Nick, because when you take a look at Lindor, this is a guy. He's your captain, and he already sent out a bunch of guys from his locker room that he didn't like. There's a reason why Jeff McNeil is no longer there. There's a reason why Pete Alonso is no longer there. There's a reason why Brandon Nimmo is no longer a Met. It's
Yeah,
because of Lindor. And now, if you can say that he has a problem with Soto, hindsight will always be 2020, Nick. But it kind of it might pain a Mets fan to think about this, but would have just made sense from the very get go if this was going to be the case, just to send off Lindor and keep all these other guys. It would have made a lot more sense, right?
I guess hindsight's 2020, but if you think about it, McNeil and Nimmo weren't really doing great their last year in New York, so I guess it kind of paid off. But Pete Alonso leaving never made sense. Like them letting him walk was so stupid. Um, and they thought that they could replace him with Jorge Polanco, and they really haven't had a chance
Yeah.
to.
And listen,
You know,
Nemo's been good this season.
no, I agree.
He's
He's
been
been really
solid,
good for
and
Texas when healthy.
he wasn't like don't be wrong. He's not like this earth shattering player, but he was decent last season too. It was not like he was a net negative for that team. He was still a positive ball player.
Yeah,
So like I don't know, like if I'm a Mets fan, I'm kind of pissed off right now.
no, because it sucks because you traded him for Marcus Simeon, and Marcus Simeon's been really terrible this season. He's hitting under the Mendoza line pretty much the entirety of the year.
I don't know where you go if you're a Mets fan. It's pretty depressing. But how about those Marlins?
Yeah, they've
I
been a
mean,
nice surprise.
yeah, a very nice surprise because when you think about it, Nick, this Marlins team spent pretty much the league minimum, and they have pretty much the same record as the Yankees right now.
Yeah,
Like they spent the least amount of money as possible. Imagine if they actually spent.
I know that's it's a crazy thought to think about, but it's like I said, it's been a year where they have done a lot better at the plate than I think a lot of people expected, and I think that's helped them because you have the rotation on paper, but you need to hit. You know, Otto
Yeah,
Lopez
it's
was a
Sandy
great
kind
year.
of like Sandy kind of turned the clock back a little bit. That helps too a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sandy had a great start to the season. I think in the middle of it, gave up a couple bad outings, but
Yeah, he's been shelled a
since
little
then
bit, but
yeah
he's getting
he's
better.
still he's still doing better. Um, they hold a wild card spot going into the second half of the season. So I mean, we'll see if they hold on to it. Um, it's going to be very interesting to see because are they going to be buyers at the deadline? You would think they would try to. I feel like the biggest thing they need is a reliever. They need a closer, in my opinion. If that's going to be the case, and maybe another bat. But it's been a nice surprise to see them. Them and teams like the Pirates also, in contention for a playoff spot this season. And
Speaking of the Pirates, you want to go head over to Central?
yeah, let's go over to the NL Central. You have the Milwaukee Brewers in first place. You know, I just continue to do it every year, Johnson. I continue to not give them enough credit, and they just continue to make eat my words.
Make a fool out of you every single year.
Yeah, pretty much,
It's
pretty
like
much.
me. Listen, it's like when we buy into the Mets every single year. Even though I'm not a Mets fan, I buy into it every single year,
Yeah,
and here we are.
yeah. 59-37. The Brewers are. They have the second best record in all of baseball going into the second half of the season. Um, Jacob Mizorowski has been incredible. I would think he's probably right now the Cy Young favorite in the National League. He's a big reason why Milwaukee is there right now with the record that they have. The Brewers pitching has been really strong all season long. The Cubs, they've had a roller coaster season so far this year. They had a 10-game win streak at one point, a 10-game losing streak at one point, but now the 12 games over 500. A big reason's been Pete Armstrong having an MVP type of season for Chicago. Um, Despite all the injuries on the pitching staff, they're still in the race right now.
Hey Nick, you know what? I'll never understand. Why can't another guy this? Why can't everyone else just pitch 106.7 miles an hour? Like it's that easy.
Yeah, apparently, right?
It's just that easy. He just gets up there, throws, touches almost 107, and he comes back down.
Yeah, we unfortunately didn't get to see him face Paul Skeens today earlier on, which would have been an incredible pitching matchup. But still, he's having an incredible first half of the
Skeens has been
season.
struggling a little bit as late.
Yeah, Skeens has been very weird.
He's come back down to earth.
They kind of worked on his stance and his throwing mechanics in the offseason. And if you look at it, his velocity has been down for the majority of the year. Like he's hitting 97 with his fastball now, which was not the case the past 2 years. So that's definitely been a concern. But the biggest story for the Pirates has been their offense has been really shockingly good this season. And that's despite them, not having O'Neal Cruz who's hurt. They lost their rookie Connor Griffin for a little bit. But they're still, getting big contributions from that offense. And right now, they're not in the playoffs, but they're fighting for a wild card spot, just like the St. Louis Cardinals, who have also been a nice surprise so far in the first half of the season. Strong years from J.J. Weatherholt, Ivan Herrera, some of those, young guns have helped St. Louis in the hunt.
St. Louis has done a fantastic job so far this year, and they got a lot of young talent, Nick. I'm very excited to see what St. Louis could do because it felt like for the longest time they were true contenders, and they fell off the face of the earth a little bit, which is like a weird kind of spot for this type of team. But all of a sudden they're back now, and it seems like they're back with a vengeance.
Yeah. And then to round out the division, you have Cincinnati, who started out pretty good. And then the last couple months have been really bad. And a big reason why has been their offense has been really poor this season. They had Ellie De La Cruz out for a while, too. They just got back Hunter Green in the rotation. Chase Burns has been a Cy Young candidate for them, though, in the rotation, which is a nice, pleasant surprise. But outside of a couple guys in their lineup, they just cannot hit the baseball. And that's a big reason why they're in dead last right now in this division. And it sucks because this was a team that we saw make the playoffs last season. We thought maybe they would take, that next step. But we have not seen it so far for them this season. And they're right now in last place because of it.
And let's round it out, Nick. Let's talk about everyone's favorite National League division.
I mean, Dodgers are the Dodgers. What are you going to do? There's not much really to say about
Well, they
them.
seem mortal this season.
I guess.
I mean, listen, the first half of
What's
this year,
mortal to you?
they only have 61 wins. That's good.
They only have the best record in baseball going in the second half.
Listen, Nick, listen, I know they're on pace to win 120 games, but there have been at times where they look mortal.
I mean, Otani's not really
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
as great, but he's pitching unbelievable so far.
Listen, he Otani can pitch. He can pitch again, but he can no longer hit. So, like, it's kind of like an even trade off, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I can really say that because he has 21 home runs and a 291 batting average. It's
Yeah,
insane.
but like that's below average for him.
I know, which sucks. I mean, he's gonna win the MVP this season. I
Death,
don't see anyone that
taxes,
actually would
Otani
take
winning
it away from him.
MVP.
They're gonna. It's gonna get to the point where you're just gonna have to make it an award for second place because he's gonna probably win it like every year. Paez has been a nice, had a nice season for them. 17
I mean,
home runs,
listen,
66 RBIs.
to me it's pages. I know you're
I
correct, but
know.
like to me, whenever I see it, my mind reach
I like to say
pages.
pages too, but
Yeah, it's
politically
more fun
correct.
that way.
Yeah. Um, Justin Verbleski has been a nice surprise for them in the rotation with a lot of their injuries. He's going to the All Star game. Yamamoto's Yamamoto. Yeah, they're waiting for guys like Tyler Glass now and what's his name? I'm trying to think. Blake Snell come back
And
from
the
the
wait
IL.
on Diaz too. I know he had a
Yeah,
rehab assignment tonight.
well, they're waiting on Diaz for a multitude of things. There's the injury, and then the I forgot what he got. He got into legal issues, but I forgot what that was.
Yeah, I know. It just got
Like a
swept under
full
the rug
fighting ring or
because.
something. It's something like that. I don't remember. It wasn't legal. I can tell you that. Whatever it was.
But
The
yeah, no,
rest
he
of
hasn't. But he has
go
not
ahead.
been good this year. So that's like that's the silver lining, isn't it?
I
He's had
guess.
very listen. He's had it's a very small sample size, but he hasn't been good. So silver lining.
We'll see what happens when he comes back. The rest of the division is tough to really gauge on. Um, Colorado is what we expected them to be. They're just not. They're nowhere near anywhere close right now. The Giants. I mean, they have not had a strong year. Comes to think of it, when you have a rookie manager, but they really can't hit the ball right now. Casey Schmidt and a couple other guys like Junko Lee have been nice surprises at the plate, but they don't really have another two guy on the rotation outside of Logan Webb, which really hurts them. The Diamondbacks have been up and down, I would say, this season. The only big surprise in this division has been the Padres because they have really been surprisingly bad this season. They didn't, Tatis didn't have a home run for the first like 3 months of the season. Manny Machado has looked like a shell of himself, and they don't really have anything to mark on when it comes to rotation. The best thing they have going pitching wise is Mason Miller.
Do you feel bad for this team, Nick? Be honest with me.
No,
Ah, come on.
no.
Not even a
The
tiny
window
bit.
was there. They had it. They had the Dodgers a couple years ago up 2-1 in a best of five. They choked that away. They choked that Phillies series away in the NLCS. The chances were there for this team, and now they're in the problem where they're under. They paid so much money to these free agents. Like they're gonna have to get rid of some players soon, and one of those guys might be Mason Miller, who they just got recently. They might have to trade him at the deadline because it's going to be a commanding market for relievers this upcoming trade deadline. So, with that being said, Johnson, we're going to do a second half recap or update, I should say, for division winners and wild card. So, why don't you give me who do you have in the NL for the division winners and the wild card
And I'm pretty excited about this, Nick. And you could stop me whenever you want to.
in terms of
When
who
you
you
have.
have?
Yeah, if you got a problem with it, just stop me.
Okay.
Because I think some of these gonna be kind of hot takes, but
Okay.
let me know. So the first team I got the Marlins, Nick, the
You got the
hottest team
Marlins
over
winning
the
the NL
last
East.
45 days. Listen, they're right there.
They
They're
are
only a
there.
couple games behind. You got 90, you got like 90 games left, 75 games left. So it's a lot of time left in the season. And they've given me all the reasons to believe in them.
I don't
Um,
hate it.
yeah, it's
Very
listen,
shocking.
it's a hot take, but it's not really a scorching hot take. Um, and I guess I'll give you my other two, Nick, if you don't mind.
I think they're pretty obvious.
What the Dodgers
Yeah, I
and the
have
Brewers?
them as well in the for the West and the Central.
Okay, so what's the where's the difference, Nick?
I
Where do we
have the
have the
Phillies
difference?
in the NL East. I think they're
I
looking
mean,
really good.
that's reasonable. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm going this. I'm basing it off of. I think they just have hit a nice stride. Um, and I'm looking at which bullpen out of these three teams I trust the most. I lean towards Philadelphia right now.
Listen, that's realistic. It's fun. That's fine. It's fine. I have no problem with that.
So, how about the three wild cards? What do you have there?
The wild cards. That's interesting, Nick.
Now,
So
do
the
we
wild
both
cards I
have?
have,
Go ahead.
I got Atlanta and I have the Phillies. So I have
Okay.
three teams out of East here.
And then what? The
And then the
Cubs.
third team I got the Cubs.
Okay. Because I have the Braves and the Cubs too as my wild card. The last wild
Who's
card
your
is where I'm stuck on, and I'm gonna give it to the Pirates. I don't know why.
You think they're gonna pick it up?
I I like what I'm seeing from their offense. If they can get something in their bullpen and maybe add another bat at the deadline, I think they have a chance. The rotation on paper is not bad. They've been pitching pretty solidly for the majority of the year.
It's gonna be very interesting, man. Yeah, because I just don't know with the with the Pirates, Nick. Listen, I
It's a
thought they would
risky
have been
pick.
selling. To be honest with you,
It's risky.
I would have picked them to be sellers. To be
I mean,
quite
listen,
frank with you.
the fact that we have Miami and Pittsburgh in a playoff race going into the second half of the season, I mean, that's great to see. You want to see these small market teams have a chance.
Yeah, of course. Everyone loves a small market team, especially in baseball. I feel like baseball is really the only sport where people routinely root for the small market. I feel like when
Yeah.
it's the NFL or the NBA, people kind of steer clear of the small market. I mean, no one's really going nuts over the Timberwolves. Maybe I am, but
Well,
the average person's not going nuts over Minnesota.
well, yeah. All right. So to recap our NL playoff teams for the second half update, you have Marlins, Dodgers, Brewers as your division winners. Braves, Phillies, Cubs as the wild card. I have Phillies, Dodgers, Brewers for the division winners, and the wild card Braves, Cubs, and Pirates. Never thought I'd have the Pirates in that mix.
Listen,
Um,
Pirates. I mean, they have a chance.
yeah, I mean, listen, you give them. I mean, why not? Why
I
not?
mean, they're a little bit over 500 right now, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah, that last wild card spot is pretty much up for grabs right now in the NL. I think the two are locked up with a combination a combination of the Cubs and whatever NL East team you want to put in there, be it the
Hmm.
Phillies or the Braves. It's really Marlin. To me, I feel like it's Marlins,
It's Marlins. It's the Pirates. Uh,
Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yeah, they're in the mix. I mean, listen,
I'm gonna keep San Diego in that mix, but I have no really. I don't really have much faith
San
in the
Diego
Brewers.
is unfortunately, in the eyes of many fans, guilty until proven innocent at this point.
Yeah, I right now I'm having trouble believing that they can do it, but on paper they should be able to do it. So I don't know. Excuse me. I've had a bad cough, and it's been a big reason why we've been haven't been on as of late. Johnson, weren't able to do
I
our
know it's been
NBA draft show because of it. It's been I made the joke with family members because I kept posting about how I have Knicks fever from the Knicks NBA final run, and
you actually do have Knicks
I
fever
pretty
now.
much have it. Yeah,
That's a real disease, and
it
you gotta
real
get that
disease,
checked out.
folks. It is a really, really, really disease. It's been kicking myself the last 2 weeks, but I won't complain. If God's championship. All right, no, enough about me. Let's go to the American League. Um, like I said, a very topsy turvy AL to start the first half. Um, I guess we'll start in the American League East. Tampa Bay leads the AL East right now, 3-game lead over the Yankees. They have obviously Junior Caminero, monster first half of the season for him. Strong pitcher rotation with guys like Drew Rasmussen, Nick Martinez has been a really pleasant surprise as well. Shane McClanahan finally back from injury. Um, Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda in their lineup as well. I forgot to mention too, but it's been a nice strong year for Tampa Bay to start, and they had the best record in the American League to show it going into the second half. The Yankees, meanwhile, they had the second best record in the American League going into the second
Well,
half.
but they had the June swoon, Nick, and everyone knows
Not
about that
surprising.
June swoon every single
Not
year.
surprising.
The Yankees they looked unstoppable, almost 20 games above 500, and bam, the month of June hit, and they've looked
Well,
terrible.
and a big reason why has been Aaron Judge has been out for the majority of the year. Had a rib issue a couple months back. He was playing through it for a couple weeks, and he said to himself, "I should probably get this checked out." Evidently, that's
You
the
could make
case.
the here's the thing for the Yankees too. They lost a bunch of close games too.
Yeah,
Like they've lost a bunch of close games, like maybe 1, 2 runs, and you could make the argument if Judge was healthy, the Yankees would probably be knocking on the door of 60 wins. They wouldn't be at
yeah,
60 wins, but they'd probably be at 58 or 59 wins.
yeah, yeah. And a big reason why they're still afloat right now in the division. Ben Rice has been incredible for them this first half of the season. A huge reason why they're still in the race. Paul Goldschmidt's been a pleasant surprise too. He's been really strong for them. Initially they were platooning Rice and Goldschmidt, but with Stanton out, with Judge out, they're both able to play now majority of every game.
I am also
Um,
once again going to ask Nick, why don't you guys play Ben Rice at catcher? I'm going to ask you one more time.
they
I
can't.
feel like you,
They can't.
listen, I know he's not a traditional catcher, but like he can catch. He's done it before.
I know, but he wasn't good at
I
it
feel like
last
with
year.
Judge being out right now, like this is the time you experiment. No,
No, but see, that's the thing. You do it when Judge comes back because you're going to have a lot more players in the lineup that you want to give opportunities to. So you would rather do it when the guys come back from injury. Like this is not the time to be doing
I
it.
suppose. Yeah, listen, because Judge has been obviously he's been fantastic,
Yeah,
and
because having a
I
strong
just don't
start
know
to the
what.
year.
Yeah, I just don't know what. Listen, like Ben Rice, like I feel like you can't sit him, you can't sit Goldie. There's so many guys where you physically cannot sit them.
Well, here's the thing with
So like,
Goldie. Goldie is killing left-handed pitching this season. He's been
yes, he's been
insane.
phenomenal.
I guess right-handers is not so much, but you need to get him in the lineup every time there's a lefty, and you can't really take Ben Rice out of the lineup even though a lefty's on the mound. It's gonna come to the point where Ben Rice probably will play catcher maybe at some point this season. I feel like because catching for the Yankees has been abysmal this year. They might try to get Hunter Goodman from the Rockies, which would be a great addition if they can possibly do that, or Ryan Jeffers from the Twins. So maybe that will put those talks into halt. But it could get to that point in the season where maybe they try to implement that with Rice again at catcher. But like I said, it wasn't really
Listen,
great
Jeffers
last
is a
season.
great catcher too.
Yeah,
He's
Jeff.
fantastic.
Yeah, he just came back from injury recently, so he's not a bad. He would not be a bad addition.
And that's gonna be a selling team too. So you should be able to get him.
Yeah, the Twins are weird because right now they're in a playoff position, but they might sell because they also.
Age old question of will Byron Buxton play?
Well, he's hurt again, so
Yeah, so that is the age old question because if Byron Buxton could average 120 to 130 games a year, the Twins would be going to the World Series every couple of years, and that's just it's sad, but it's the reality of the situation.
we'll talk about the Twins in a little bit. I've been absolutely surprised with how they've been playing this first half of the season. They deserve a lot of credit for how they've been this first half of the
I
year.
mean, they're a great team, and we always knew they're a great team. It's just that they can't stay healthy.
Well, they sold off a lot of their talent last season at the deadline. They were made fun of for it because they literally just sold every single player outside of Buxton. And were they a game under 500 or something like that?
Yeah, listen, that's why I think they might sell again. So
Yeah.
got to
Um,
build towards the future.
Rest of the Yankee wise, Cam Schlitter, a Cy Young candidate for the Yankees. They got back Garrett Cole finally. Um, Rodon came back for a bit but got hurt, so we'll see what happens with him. Max Fried was great to start the year, then he got hurt. So a lot of starting pitching issues for the Yankees. They were just waiting for guys to get it back, and maybe they make an addition at the deadline. But the bullpen's been pleasantly surprising. On paper, it doesn't look like it's been it's been funny. I saw this stat earlier today. I feel like I've watched so many Yankee games this season, and it feels like the bullpen has not been great this year. The Yankees are the best bullpen ERA in the entire MLB right now,
Well,
which makes
Yankees pitching's
no
been
sense.
fantastic.
The bullpen, though, talk about the bullpen
Oh,
straight,
well, yeah, but I mean that was your problem last year. The problem last year was your setups
and they
last year.
have
Your
not,
7-8,
and they've had guys like
six,
Camilo
seven, eight.
Dewalt been horrible this season. Bednar has been very shaky in some of his, close like saves. I'm trying to think of other relievers in there. Tim Hill has been up and down this year. It really hasn't felt like they have the best bullpen ERA this season, but yet that was the case. I could not believe when I saw that stat um, early on when watching the Yankee game, but that's where we are. Um, Funny enough, Johnson, if we did this podcast a week ago, we would have said like the Red Sox had a really rough year for them. They fired Alex Cora a month into the season. Everything was going wrong for Boston, and now they're one of the hottest teams in baseball, if not the hottest team in baseball. They've won 9 straight games going into the All Star break. They went from being, I think, like 6.5 games back of the last wild card spot to now being a half game back of that last wild card spot going into the All Star break. Wilson Contreras has been great for them this season. Their rotation has been surprisingly really strong these last 2 weeks. A big reason why they're back into the playoff race. And I don't really like to say it, but they've been playing pretty good baseball these last 2 weeks.
No, they have. But here's the question, Nick. This is gonna sound crazy. Roman Anthony's having a pretty bad year.
Yeah,
Like
I think he's been hurt too.
he's been hurt,
Yeah,
and Volpe came back and he's been half decent.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I guess
listen, I know it's a one off and it's kind of funny, but like as of right now, whose stock is higher, Roman Anthony or Volpe?
it's still Roman Anthony.
Ah, man, that
Volpe's
feels
stock
dirty.
is so down right now. It's so bad.
It feels very very dirty to say that, but you're probably right.
It's just the it's just the case. Volpe at this point is only starting at some of these games because of these injuries. If not for the injuries, you could make the case Volpe's still in AAA right now. You could very well make that case. And they're giving
You're
him a
not
lot of
wrong.
opportunities to their credit.
No, you're not wrong, Nick.
Some
That's
of
the
the at
sad thing.
bats he's had in these last couple of weeks have been very, very. I mean, there was a bat against Chapman while we'll talk about the Red Sox. He took 2 fastballs down the middle, did not swing,
Just looking at it.
and then oh actually no, I think it was 3 straight fastballs he took down the middle, and he just did not swing the bat. Like, I don't know what you're looking for in a bat with a roll to Chapman.
And
You know
you
he's
know,
throwing
it,
he's
it's
throwing that.
that's a confidence thing too. Like that is a sign of a
Exactly.
broken
That's the
player.
problem. His confidence is completely shot. Where Roman Anthony had a great rookie year.
And he has the Boston fan base behind him,
Yeah.
who they
Well,
know they suck this year, but it's not, they're not playing for anything. Whereas like it's all the pressure in the world right now
yeah,
playing for
and
the
in
Yankees.
Boston, as much as I hate to say it, they might come away and steal that last wild card spot because of how they've been playing of recent, which might be the case. But if you look at the remaining wild card teams in the AL, it's really tough to decide who are going to be those 3 wild cards outside of the 2 AL East teams, because one of those 2 AL East teams, the Yankees and the Red Sox, are going to, the Yankees and the Rays are going to be one of the wild cards. That's a fact. It's who are the other two. So I'm very curious what we both decide on later when we decide that for our second half update. To round out the division, Baltimore. I don't want to say I'm surprised that they're not doing great. The rotation on paper is still not good. And I kind of knew that going into the year. Pete
And
Alonso,
here's
at
the
least,
thing.
has been a nice addition for them.
Yeah, listen, a lot of their batting, it hasn't been good this year.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Like a lot of these guys are having slumps.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that Alonso's been the best batter on this team? I think so.
I would
I think he's
say
been.
if it's not Alonso,
It's either him or it's Rushman, and you're in trouble
yeah, it's either him or like Taylor Ward. And then
because Holiday hasn't been that great. Henderson hasn't been good. Hasn't been that
Gunnar has
great.
been really surprisingly bad this season.
And Colton Cowser, he's doing nothing.
Yeah.
So like, this is a team where, unfortunately, this entire team's in a slump.
And remember
Now, that being said,
yeah, go ahead.
no, that being said, if they could all come out of the slump at the same exact time,
Yeah,
they could be cooking.
and remember last year they got Trevor Rogers in that deal with Miami, and he was unbelievable for them in the last 2 months of the season. He has like a 5
And now he's come back down.
Yeah, he's come back down to earth.
Yeah, he's come back down to earth. It is. It is what it is. He's a. I think he's got a 4.4 right now. He's a league average pitcher.
Yeah. And then finally Toronto, probably the biggest surprise, I guess, out of this division. in the World Series last year, literally 2 outs away from winning a championship. And they're 5 games under 500 right now. I feel like a big reason for that has been the offense has not really been strong this year. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero has 6 home runs going into the All-Star break, which is crazy to think that's the case. Still having a fine season, but not to the numbers we've seen Vladdy hit over the last couple seasons. Kazuma Akamoto's been a nice addition for them. 22 home runs going into the break. But you mean Ernie Clemente hitting 297? That's your best batting average right now going into the All-Star break. Your rotation wise, Dylan Cease has had a fine season. Definitely a Cy Young candidate, probably going into the break. Gossman hasn't really looked like himself. You got Trey Savage back, but he just had an all-time bad outing recently. He's been up and down so far. Louis Varland's been nice as the closer after the Jeff Hoffman experiment, went terribly. But yeah, outside of Cease, they don't really have strong pitching really going for them right now in that rotation.
And Nick, let's go to the next division.
And that's the AL Central. I think you gotta start with the White Sox, right? How surprising!
White Sox have been the biggest surprise in baseball,
All
Nick.
baseball, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so a team that last year, when you take a look at the White Sox, well, not last year, but 2 years ago, they won 41 games,
Exactly.
right? They won 41 games 2 seasons ago. They won 60 games last year. 49 right now.
They're 50 now.
49, 45 at the All-Star break, and that's led by Miguel Vargas. Miguel Vargas is having a career year. For a guy that was stuck in the,
not mistaken,
he's an All-Star, and this was a guy that was stuck in the Dodgers. Like
this was a guy that was sent to Chicago. I wish I remember the trade off the top of my head. I'm gonna look it up.
It was a throw-in, though.
Yeah,
he was a throw-in.
Let me look up the trade while you talk about him.
But yeah, Miguel Vargas, he was a net negative asset for the first couple of years of his career. He was a really hyped up prospect.
Right. Yeah, I got it.
And now here he is. He's batting, I think, 245. 245 right now. He's got a lot of home runs. He's stealing bases. And he's an all-star. He's playing great defense. You want him on your team. I think he's probably one of the best infielders in baseball right now. Yeah, and this is a guy that was a trade-in 2 years. It was a throw-in 2 years ago.
And they've been having him play first base a lot recently because Murakami, who had a tremendous start to the season, got injured. But now Murakami's back, so
he's going to be in the home run derby.
3 guys in this roster that have 20 home runs already going into the break. Montgomery is at 23, Vargas is at 21, and Murakami, despite getting injured, hit 20. So that's incredible as it is.
And you have other solid bat. You didn't mention Randall Grichuk either. He's another solid bat.
Yeah.
No, he's been solid this year.
No, listen, he didn't work out for the
Yankees. Defensively, he's not great at all. Don't get me wrong, but he's a good bat.
No, he's just straight up DH. That's his best you're gonna get out of him.
Yeah.
Tristan Peters, how about him? He's been one of the best stories in all of baseball. This guy was playing the Savannah Bananas a couple years ago. He's making the All-Star team this week. He just hit for the cycle 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday, whatever it was.
Yeah, to go from playing this from the Savannah Bananas to the MLB All-Star game in 2 years is one of the greatest stories in sport. Next to John Starks bagging groceries in Oklahoma, and then 10 years later, he started in the NBA Finals.
It's like Kurt Warner bagging groceries.
That's another, going to the, him too.
Be a Super Bowl MVP. Or playing in Super Bowl, whatever it was. White Sox rotation also has been pretty good for them this season. Davis Martin, Anthony Kay, trying to think of other reliever stars in the rotation. Sean Burke has gotten a couple of good starts for them this season too. The rotation's not been terrible. I would like to see them add some bullpen depth if possible. So Anthony Dominguez has been fine as a closer, but I would still like them to get another reliever if possible. I also found out the Vargas deal. He got sent to Chicago. The Dodgers got Michael Kopech, Tommy Edman, and the Cardinals got Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham. So it was a 3-team deal. I felt like it was the Tommy Edman deal, but I couldn't remember if it was. So I had to double check that. But yeah, White Sox tied for first place going in the second half of the season. Another thing that we did not even expect going into the second half of the season. They're right now tied with Cleveland at 50, who right now is still in first place, And to their credit, they're doing it without Jose Ramirez, who's been out for the last month. Um, it's been tremendous to see what they've done. A big reason for that has been they've gotten some big contributions from, some of these new guys as well as some of the players they've had the last couple of years. Brian Rocchio has been good for them this year. Their rookie Chase DeLauder has been solid all season long. Travis Bazzana, another rookie, has had some flashes this season. But their pitching has been a big reason why they're still in the race right now in the AL Central. Um, Patrick Mezek, I believe that's how you pronounce it at least. I hope I didn't mess it up. But regardless, he has their team's best ERA in terms of pitcher. He's 2.73 right now. Gavin Williams has been pretty solid for them this season. Tanner Bybee has been up and down, but still been pretty good. Kate Smith has 28 saves already, which is insane. And Joey Cantillo has been pretty good this season for them in the rotation. The rotation's been really strong all season long for Cleveland, and that's why they're tied with the White Sox going in the second half of the season. Another surprise in this division, Johnson, you mentioned this team earlier on. Minnesota Twins deserve some credit too for what they've done. Been a really, really surprising start for them this season, but you look at what they're doing right now, it's not been flashy. It hasn't looked great on paper, but yet they're right now one of those teams battling for the last wild card spot.
Amazing story, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But
a team that I think I don't know, a lot of people would say it, but I certainly thought they'd be the worst team in baseball coming into the season. I thought it was a
well,
shoo-in.
the New York Mets told you to go hold your beer, so
Well, maybe not the Mets. There's two teams in the American League and the Colorado Rockies that might have a different word for that.
well, it's just funny.
I
It's just funny.
know. But yeah, give credit to the Twins for what they've done this season. Taj Bradley has been a nice addition in the rotation this year. I think getting sent away from Tampa Bay. Byron Buxton was playing really good up until his injury recently. Josh Bell has been a really nice addition too.
Miss him as a Marlin.
Yeah.
He'd be a great Marlin if he was still there.
Brooks Lee has been a nice, young star for them so far this season. Other than that, it's been not flashy, but it's worked.
You know who I want to talk about, Nick?
Who?
I want to talk about a 34-year-old center fielder
Mm-hmm.
that made the All-Star team for the first time since 2024. His name is Michael Trout.
You want to get to the AL West already?
I don't want to get to the AL West.
All right.
I want to
Let me
go straight to the AL West.
the rest of the division real quick because it won't take too much long. Kansas City has been terrible. They've been really disappointing all season long. Outside of Bobby Witt, they've been really, really bad. Their rotation itself has proven that. And don't look now, but the Tigers are getting hot. They're still 8 games under 500, but don't be surprised if the Tigers make a second half push and win this AL Central. I would not be surprised. They're just gonna try to get healthy. That's been a big reason why they had a bad first half. But go ahead. Why don't you want to talk about Michael Trout?
I want to talk about Michael Trout, Nick, because he's having his best season probably since 2021 or 2020 because he's been hurt. I know he's been on and off. He's been hurt a little bit this season, but he's played 77 baseball games. For Mike Trout to play 77 baseball games going through the early part of July is nothing short of a miracle because he's still on pace to.
LA, man. Gotta get him out.
Yeah, listen, this is what I want to talk about now, Nick, because Mike Trout, he's probably responsible for 30 of the 38 wins that the Angels have. Because the Angels have been an absolute train wreck. We're going to talk about them.
Remember the first 2 months of the year where Jose Soriano was the best pitcher in baseball?
And now he's
back
not
down
anymore?
to earth again. Yeah.
I mean, he's still good. Don't get me wrong.
No,
he's still having a solid
year,
season.
But he went from a .9 ERA to like what, a
3.4.
It's 3.4 now.
He's at a 3.4.
Yeah, he had a pretty good start. He must have had a good start earlier today against the Twins, but yeah. I mean, it's seen how that and what he went from really good to fine. Like Cy Young.
It's funny too because
like all right, solid year.
Because who's probably their third best player. A fan favorite of Yankees fans. It's Oswald.
Oh, it's not Oswald Peraza. It is not.
He's probably their third best player.
They have Zach Neto and Joe Adell. I'd rather have one of those two guys.
Joe Adell has been terrible this year, Nick.
I
I don't know
know,
if you've
but
seen
still,
Joe Adell.
I
He's been
have.
like a black hole.
Yeah, it's home run or bust.
He's like, listen, like I really think he's the third best player on
He's
this
not.
team.
He's not. He's had a
Listen,
he's had
it's
a good year.
Trout, and then it's Zach Neto. I 100% agree with you. Then I think it's Oswald.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I'll let you have it.
Do you want to say it's Wade Meckler? I'll give you Wade
I
Meckler.
don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Wade Meckler is?
If I don't know a baseball player, that either means I really haven't been paying attention to your team, or I just yeah, I don't know who
No,
that
he's an
is.
MLB The Show legend from a couple of years ago. He was so irrelevant because he was on the Giants for like a
Yeah,
cup of coffee,
That's a
and
great
then
year.
yeah, he was on the Giants for like a cup of coffee, and then people were losing their minds because they couldn't complete the Giants collection because of him.
Yeah,
So that's why I know who Wade Meckler is. But yeah, no, that's like he might be the third best player on this team.
he's not. He's not.
Anyways, so Mike Trout is obviously gonna get traded.
He's
That's
not getting
I
traded.
think it's a lot.
He's not.
And all right, if he fine, it
He
walk with me
should
here.
get traded, but they're so stubborn
This
and
team
what
is
they want
worse than the
and
Athletics, Nick. To round out this division,
what
it's the
ownership
Athletics. Say it again.
in terms of what ownership or just in general.
In general,
Okay.
in general, this team is worse than this is a worse team than the Athletics from top to bottom.
Yeah, no, it is 100%. There's no question about that. The Athletics, it sucks because I thought that they would be the team. I thought they would be like the White Sox in a way, where not like oh, I'm surprised what they're doing. Like I thought they would be a team that's over 500. They lead the division because it's a bad division, and they just have not been that whatsoever. A lot of injuries have happened for them this season. Don't get me wrong, but their rotation has been really bad. Like it is really, really bad for them this season. And again, a big reason why that's happened, Johnson. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're playing in a minor league ballpark. Like your rotation is going to be awful until you get out of this minor league out of these minor league stadiums. It's basically you're basically a Colorado Rocky right now. That's exactly where they're currently at, and that's crazy to think because right now they're going to only be able to hit and not be able to pitch, and that's going to continue like that for years and years to come until they actually move to Las Vegas. Um, Nick Kurtz has been fine this season. Hitting a lot of home runs, hitting 266. But he's been hurt for a bit. Jacob Wilson has been hurt for a bit. Shea Langoliers was pretty good for the first couple months of the season. He's still having a strong year, but yeah, as a team, they're just not hitting the ball really well. Outside of a couple players, they've been really, really disappointing in my opinion. I thought personally, I don't remember if I picked them as my division winner to begin the season, but I thought they maybe could sneak in as a wild card maybe at some point. No, I had the Mariners, but regardless, I thought maybe they'd be in the mix for that division at the end of the year, but maybe that doesn't look like that's going to be the case. To round out the division, you have as well the Astros, who had a really bad first half this season in terms of the first. I shouldn't say total bad first half. In terms of what they've done the last couple of years, it's a really bad first half, but they picked it up in the last month or two, so they're starting to get back to playing some good baseball. Yordan Alvarez is an MVP candidate right now. He's been insane for the Astros this season. The rotation has been a big reason why they haven't been in the mix, as well as some of their hitting. Like they're not really hitting the ball outside of Yordan as much as they would like to, but they're still in the mix because the AL West is pretty bad right now. It's a really really bad division. Um, you have Seattle right now in second place at 48 and 49. Julio Rodriguez is injured right now. The only reason they're even in this race is because of that rotation too. Like Logan Gilbert has been strong for them this season. Um, as you know, they're not having a good year in terms of hitting. Cal Raleigh has looked like a shell of himself from last year. The 60 home run season, he has not been the same guy whatsoever this season around. You could argue that Randy Rosarina has probably been outside of Julio Rodriguez has been their best hitter all season long. or maybe Dominic Canzone. Like it's been that bad for the Mariners in terms of hitting, but yet they're only a game and a half out of first place in the AL West.
See,
And
isn't this division so great, Nick? It's just all so equally terrible.
it's incredible. But and then you know what the thing was? I think we kind of knew this was going to happen at the beginning of the year. Like we knew this it wasn't going to be a good division, but you knew someone had to win the division. It's kind of this feels like the no, not the NFC. Well,
No, this feels like the
NFC
this
South.
feels like
Am I,
no, no. I was gonna say this feels like the AL Central every year.
and technically the AL Central is kind of like that, but
Kind of like this. So this feels like the AL Central again.
yeah, yeah. The end of the division, you have the Texas Rangers who lead the division right now. Um, they're the only team above 500 in this division as it is. Um, they've been plagued by injuries again. No shocker there, but they're still in first place despite it. A big reason's been their hitting. They've been actually hitting the ball really solidly this season. Nimmo, you mentioned him earlier on with the trade with the Mets. He's been a nice addition. Josh Jung looking pretty good as well, coming back from an injury. Ezekiel Duran has been pretty good. Wyatt Langford has been pretty solid, in a short sample size. Rotation wise, Jacob DeGrom has been up and down. Evaldi has been solid up and down season, but still pretty decent enough. And Jacob Latz has been a nice shutdown closer for them this season as well. But still need some back end of the rotation guys because Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter, and Cal Quantrill really have not been. I guess Cal Quantrill's been fine, but Rocker and Leiter have not been what we expected them to be out of Vanderbilt when they were initially drafted in the MLB. So all that being said, Johnson, division winners and wild cards for the American League.
Oh man, this is tough, and by tough I mean it's pretty easy. All right, Nick. East, West, Central in this order:
Okay.
Yankees, Rangers, and by God, the White
The
Sox.
White Sox. I love it. I would love. I want to see them in the playoffs.
I want to see when you know what this is a fan base that has had decades of suffering ever since 2005, where I think they deserve something.
Yeah, I would love to see them in the playoffs. They're not like on paper they don't look like a team that should make the playoffs, but they've been really solidly. They're playing above the metrics. I feel like in a way.
And Nick,
I know.
for my wild cards, I have Tampa Bay,
Did you pick a AL
Seattle,
West winner?
and yes, the
Oh,
Rangers,
I didn't hear that. My bad. Yeah, okay. And then your wild cards. So you said are who?
Seattle, Cleveland,
Tampa.
and Tampa Bay. Yes,
Yeah.
run it down for me, Nick. Who do you got?
I'm gonna take the Yankees in the AL East, and Tampa
Okay,
as my wild card. I did this regardless of who you have, and as I said earlier, they're gonna be
yeah,
in the
1-2, the
playoffs.
1A, 1B.
The division winners is where I'm stuck on. I think. Call me crazy. I'm gonna take the Tigers to win the AL Central. I think they have a good. I think they have a strong second half of the season and take it from Cleveland and Chicago.
Okay,
I think that another big reason is because you're trying to keep Schoolball. Who knows what's going to happen with him? He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. You're trying to persuade him to come back. I think they might have a chance to do that in the second half of the season. AL West. I'm gonna go with Seattle. They were my picker initially. I'm just gonna stick with them, but I haven't had much faith in their offense to make me believe that's gonna be the case. Wild cards, Tampa Bay. I'm gonna say Cleveland, and then I'm between the two Sox. I'm between Boston and Chicago, and just because I am a salty Yankee fan, I'll take the White Sox as my last wild card. So recap it quickly. You have Yankees. We both have Yankees and Tampa in as the AL East and AL wildcard respectively. Your AL West winner is Texas. Mine is Seattle. AL Central is Chicago. Mine is Detroit. And then the other two wild cards, we both have Cleveland. You have Seattle, and I have the Chicago White Sox. All right, Johnson. Before we wrap this one up, let's go into the All-Star festivities coming up this upcoming Monday and Tuesday night. Monday, of course, will be the Home Run Derby. Always love the Home Run Derby. It's back to the swings now. No more of those outs. Thank God we're going back to the original format in a way. I absolutely hated what the Derby was becoming these last couple of years. Um, I do have home run derby odds if you would like them. But who was your pick to win the derby? Before I
Junior, Nick.
Junior Caminero.
I'm going.
I should
Yes,
have
sir.
specified who was in the derby before I asked you. But yes, go ahead.
I'm going with Junior, Nick. He's having such a fantastic year, and he's really heated up. I think he had 11 home runs in 11 days. So
Yeah, he
this
did.
guy's going red hot
He did.
into the Derby. He's gonna stay hot, and then he's gonna break his swing.
To mention before, the derby participants are Kyle Schwarber, Munetaka Murakami, Junior Caminero, Jordan Walker, Jack Caglione, Bryce Harper, Ben Rice, and Wilson Contreras. You have Caminero, who is plus 480, third best odds to win the Derby itself. Um, as much as I would love to see Ben Rice win it, I don't think he will. You know what? Give me Murakami. Give me Munetaka. I'm gonna go
All
with
right,
Murakami to
I
win the
like it.
Derby. He's been well rested. He's just coming back from an injury. I think if you want to get the narrative of seeing the White Sox finally get something going their way, why not give him the Derby plus 470? I'll take that any day of the week. So Murataka Murakami to win All Star. To win the Home Run Derby itself. Now let's go to the All Star game. I know it hasn't meant much in recent years, but we'll still pick it. Who wins the All Star game and who wins All Star game MVP?
Uh, AL Nick Miguel Vargas.
We're continuing this White Sox trend, huh?
Miguel Vargas. Nick, he's been so good. He's been
Yeah,
one
it's
of the
been
best
good.
players in baseball.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That would be incredible. Um, if the White Sox won the Derby and the All Star Game MVP this week. Because keep in mind, the player you usually want to pick, I feel like, for the All Star Game MVP is a guy that doesn't start the game, in my opinion. Because these games usually tend to be close towards the end, where you want to take a substitution so that when that guy comes in and makes the big hit, then you have him right there. So I like that as your pick. It's a very sneaky pick. He's one of those reserves, as you mentioned, or at least I think he is one of the reserves right now. I don't know if he's replacing Nick Kurtz at first base because of his injury. Uh, who will I go with? I will take. Give me the National League to win, and I will take. I feel like I did this last season, and I might be doing it again this year. I'll take PCA to win it. I definitely did this last season too. I feel like I remember saying that as my All Star Game MVP, but I'm going to take PCA to win All Star Game MVP for the National League.
PCA. That's a good one.
He
I
has
like
been
it.
incredibly red hot. He'll be a substitution at some point in that game, so I think he'll make a big play. It's with a home run maybe. We'll see. And then to round out our Johnson, we might as well do it. AL pennant, NL pennant, and World Series winner. Who do you got?
Oh boy.
Let's
Well.
get the NL out of the way. Dodgers for both of us, right?
Yep. And the Yankees for me in the AL. And guess
Ah,
what, Nick? It's
yeah,
Yankees, Dodgers, and the
Oh,
Dodgers winning
great.
it all.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And then the sport is gonna be gone for 2 years because of a
Because of the
lockout.
lockout. Yeah, we haven't mentioned the lockout at all, which, surprisingly enough, got
It's
through all of
looming.
this. We haven't mentioned it once. We'll be talking about a couple months from now. I got Dodgers. I had Mariners originally, and I'm not doing that. I can tell you. I can tell you right now, I'm not doing that. Uh, give me Dodgers and I don't know Tampa. I guess I'm just gonna try to prevent the Yankees from getting jinxed at this rate. So Tampa and Dodgers rematch of the bubble World Series, if you want to call it that, from 2020. Good old bubble World Series. A lot of people forgot about that. I don't. Oh man. Other than that, Johnson, that does it for the first half recap and second half preview of the MLB season. A couple weeks from now will be the MLB trade deadline. First time, I believe, in maybe a consideration, the deadline will be going into August. It will not be on July 31st. So the first couple days of August, we will see a couple
It's
trades
certainly
going
the
down.
first time that we've covered it like
It might
this.
be the
So
first time ever. I don't remember
yeah,
it recently happening, but that is definitely the case for this year. Looking forward to see what these teams do before a potential lockout comes around. But other than that, Johnson, that does it for this episode of the All Gas No Break Sports Show. Any final thoughts?
enjoy baseball while you can
Still
because
can.
it may be coming to a halt after this World Series for a little bit.
I've gone to a couple games this season just because of the potential of that happening in the offseason. I've been to a couple
Maybe
Yankee
you'll
games.
see it at a Mets game, Nick,
I've been to a Mets game this season. I've been to a couple. I've been to one
because
Mets
you could
game.
probably get Mets tickets for 15 cents right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not good. Not good. I think I went to a game like 2 months ago when the Knicks were playing the Hawks or whatever it was 3 months ago, and the tickets were like $8. The Mets were playing like the Nationals or
Well,
something.
hey Nick, if you want to see the Dodgers, it's $32
That's
on a
insane.
Saturday.
That's insane.
2 weeks from now, Nick,
Yeah.
Saturday the 25th, you can see the Dodgers for $32.
I might be able to. Hopefully, we'll see. All right, Johnson, I'm going to try to power through this outro with the way my cough's been. Let's see if I can do it. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the All Gas No Break Sports Show. First half of the MLB season has winded down, and we are now getting ready for the second half of this MLB season. Who will come out on top in the American League and the National League? When we get closer to October, Johnson and I will break down the second half of the MLB season, and then we will see what will be the preview of the MLB postseason itself. For Nicholas Pavona and Andrew Johnson, this has been the All Gas No Break Sports Show. Have a great rest of your week, and thank you all for cooperating with my cough this week. Have a great rest of your weekend.